Boy goes to the bathroom and hikes the window and goes out the window. It was a year later when he saw Sunday Boy. Wolf said he looked for him that whole year with a double-barrel shotgun. Then he Sunday Boy comes back. Greenwood come back. Wolf said he looked at him. He said, hey man, you know, I seen a time 2 months ago you'd have been dead. Sonny Boy, well, you know how I was. I don't know why I did it. I just got greedy. Yeah, Wolf said, yeah. See, you'd have been a dead dude, man, if I had found you 2 months ago.
I tried to fetch religion, but you wouldn't even let me pray. I wanted to refresh religion, but woman, you know you won't let me pray. If you don't be mighty careful, the devil gonna get you one day.
Sonny Boy #2 was broadcasting down in Helena, Arkansas, using Sonny Boy's #1 name.
And when I got to Helena, Sonny Boy had been on the air for about 3 days by himself. And I joined him. And we was on King Biscuit Time about 6 months and found Peck. And in a couple of weeks I bought Peck some drums.
Sonny Boy #1 went from Chicago down to Helena, Arkansas, and took him off the air and stopped him from using his name. And later on, some kind of way, the company and them, they made a deal. He was using Sonny Boy #1 name and everything. Everybody thought Sonny Boy #2. That's how they got it straightened out. That's how come they call Sonny Boy. Otherwise, it never would have been straightened out now. Sonny Boy #1 went from Chicago down to Helena, Arkansas, and pulled Sonny Boy #2 off there from King Biscuit. Did you understand that?
We'd come on the air, you know, I'd be the first one to hit it, you know. And key of A, we'd play, good evening everybody, tell them how do you do. We King Biscuit boys come out to welcome you.
We would hear King Biscuit Time, and they had it planned well because it would be at 12:15.
That was 5 days every week. Every week, 5 days.
And we would be coming out of the fields at, we call it coming in for dinner. You know, sophisticated people say lunch today, you know, but to me it's still dinner. You come out of the fields for dinner and you have an hour off. 15 minutes after you get there, and we be hurrying to get to the house, you know, your home wherever you lived if you had a radio.
So I had a lot of guys on King Biscuit Time before I left. I had Joe Willie Wilkins, and I taught Joe Willie how to play with Sonny Boy.
But you could listen to anybody, sit on anybody's porch, as we call it, and you'd hear Sonny Boy Williamson, King Biscuit Time, from Helena, Arkansas.
You know, that, you know, every morning for breakfast, I have King Biscuit on my table, inviting my friends and all my next door neighbors. He could sing that too.
How long, babe, how long? Now here in the evening, train been gone. For how long? How long, babe, how long?
Ain't but two of us living was on that program now. It's me and Robert Jr. Lockwood. On us two living. Joe Willie Wilkins, James Peck Curtis, Sonny Boy, Houston Stackhouse, all gone. I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
And I'm gonna sing this time, darling. Ain't gonna sing no more. No more time to roll around. I believe I've got to go. For how long? How long? Babe, how long?
a lot of these guys, that's where they got a lot of their stuff from, a lot of their licks from Robert Jr. Lockwood. Robert Jr. Lockwood was top cat then on the guitar.
I've always liked guitar, and to hear Robert Jr. Lockwood was with him at that time. Ooh. I just started to fantasize and dreaming, God, if I could just play a little bit like him.
Baby, when the sun go down in the evening, baby, when the sun go down, it's hard to tell, when your lover's not around, when the sun goes down. When I went down south, I stopped in Tunica, and I went in Hard Face's restaurant and ordered some food. I had an electric guitar and an amplifier. And a lady went over to the jukebox to play a song. And Hardface asked her, why didn't she give me that money? So why don't you give that money to this man? Said, he might be able to play what you want to hear. And she said, if he play Take a Little Walk with Me, I'll take him home with me. That was my song. And I said, take a little walk. I had never heard my own song. See, at that time when you made a record, you didn't get no playbacks. Whoever you was working for, if they said it was okay, that was it. So I went on back and sat down and told the lady, I said, I think I can play it. And I hit that introduction, that woman's mouth fell open. Goodbye, sweetheart and friend. Yes, I'm going away. I'll be back to see you some long in the evening. Baby, when the sun go down, when the sun go
I told you when I was about 8 years old, I seen a fella. Old fella was playing a guitar acoustic, coming through the neighborhood. He had played for somebody called a supper that somebody was having that night, that Saturday night, and he was on his way back home that Sunday morning. And he had him stop by our house to get a cup of coffee or something, you know. My grandmother, she always had a little bootleg liquor around. Somebody, you know, if nobody come out and get a little drink or something. And so he been around and played a few numbers. They fed him, you know, get him some food and some coffee and give him a little toddy. He got on his way, you know, put his old guitar across his back. But man, he just playing that. I was looking at him. That's my first time I ever seen that. And it just got all over me. I'm telling you, that's what I'm telling you. It rode me night and day. It jumped on me.
Well, a juke joint is these little places where people ain't able to build them no club, and so they take any kind of little house and set it up, you know, men and hire musicians or get them a jukebox and put in there, you know, one of them vendors and put in there. And then they sell moonshine, whiskey, beer, and fishes stuff, you know, like that, you know what I mean?
stayed with me, man. It rode me night and day.
Every day, every day, every day, every day I have the blues. Every day, every day, every day I have the blues. When you see the woman, or then you are
About the music, just a feeling that you get from it. It's a feeling. You don't get it often, but every once in a while you pick that feeling. You get a feeling within you, and man, you just feel real good.
Oh, good God Almighty. Well, I don't want to feel it this evening. If I had wings, I'd be about proud way. But now, no. Every day. Every day.
Well, St. Louis always has been indifferent from most towns. I tried to live out of St. Louis. Not that I couldn't live out, but I just couldn't get St. Louis out of my system. Lonnie Johnson lived here. Peter Wheatstraw was really popular. Roosevelt Sykes was popular. By the middle of the 30s, Roosevelt had made a pretty good hit. I was employed with Roosevelt for the reason of Roosevelt. At that time, he had the tendency to gain speed as he started. He'd take one tempo, and when he quit, he'd be way up there, you know. And this is what I was hired to do, is to hold him, to keep him from running away. He wasn't going to stay long. If he'd done 3 nights, or whatever, that was the end of it. He had a little way to eat. Well, mule, maybe we better move. I said, what's the matter? Just ready to move, mule. I guess most people just heard that if you can't live in St. Louis, you can't live nowhere, because everything was in the mud for cheap, and you could always find a place to stay.
Things happen strangely. I don't see how it can be. Things happen strangely. Don't see how it can be. But it's been happening to me all my whole lifetime. Everything wrong happened to me.
There was a place on the river for what's called roustabouts, and they had all prices that you wanted to, you could sleep there, no regardless. If you had anything, if you had a nickel, you could sleep there. But the way they slept, and it's kind of difficult to believe, but this is true, it's not nothing made up. For $1, you could get a cot, sleep on just like you do in a hotel, but you see everybody, a lot of other people out there. For 50 cents, you could get an easy sitting chair. For $0.25, you could get double ropes. You've heard of that? You slept on 2 ropes. One on this arm, one on that arm. You stood up and slept. For $0.10, you could sleep on 1 rope, stand up and sleep. You couldn't lay down on the floor. You had to be placed in one of those places. And you believe it or not, it's a lot of people. You mentioned around and mention St. Louis, and some of the old timers or some of the young people have heard of this, sleeping on the rope.
Well, they've been giving me trouble so long. Well, they've been giving me trouble so long. I've been having the same trouble ever since I've been a made-up room.
Blues comes in a many forms. It can come negative,